there's so much. We tend to look at data in such a narrow light, but there's just so much trying to predict the unpredictable, which is the third bucket, and it's ever increasing in the fundraising universe now. I thought I loved data in its raw form. I realized very early on that this is not as what I made it seem in my head before I actually had experience working with it, right? Accuracy is not as important as explainability. And this is also more for like the non-technical key stakeholders I tend to work with. They'd rather have a model that's not 99% accurate and is 85% accurate, but you can explain it and actually drive some impact out of it. That's what's more important.
Palak, hello.
Hey, good to be here. He messed it up.
You were worried about yourself, worried about that guy.
No. But Palak, in all sincerity, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you.
No, thank you. This is great. I'm looking forward to it and happy to be here.
Wonderful. Palak, I've been excited about this conversation for a while. I know we had it in the planning for a few days. So I wanted to ask you so many things that I was curious about, especially first just starting with the amazing background that you have and a very unique background, I must say that. So can you just tell us and all the viewers who are tuning in, uh, how does your the whole gamut of finance, accounting, business analytics and tech all kind of combine together um, in a beautiful way?
Yeah, it's quite a few degrees there. I
So
was
three
in
masters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. One's an MBA. The other one is more data analytics related, and then there's masters I have in systems. So yeah, it's a handful.
Cool. So, did you start with data analytics, or did you start in finance first? So, just walk us through.
Sure. So I started in accounting and finance. That
Okay.
was what I got my bachelor's degree in back home in India. And it was just because of the love of numbers and what you could uncover with trends. So I
Yeah.
guess that seed was already in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like a natural progression because when I moved here to get my MBA,
To the United States to get your MBA. Okay.
Yes. I happened upon a machine learning class, and it just felt like just felt so natural in the sense of wow, there's a whole variety and plethora of things you could do even outside of finance and accounting, and
Yeah.
these really interesting stories you could tell with those numbers. So that's kind of what got me into data analytics, and I stuck around in school for another year and got another master's degree. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. This is nice to hear because the way I heard it is like your curiosity in machine learning, data science kind of grew because it was just an elective, or just another course that you took as a part.
Yeah. It started off as an elective, and then as I mentioned, decided to get a full master's degree after my MBA, just because I was curious to learn more and just explore what the whole analytics universe has to offer, because there's so much and it's ever changing. So,
Yeah, so you had one a particular stream, and had you worked as an accountant or something? Or
I had briefly in more tax and audit.
oh
So, not
wow,
exactly the fun stuff, but yeah.
sure, tax and audit, and then you kind of found like okay, the numbers still remain the foundation, right? The math and just doing a lot of things with number crunching.
Yeah, numbers has been the solid like staple throughout my career. It's always been the foundation of everything. So it's almost like data has always been the foundation of everything even
Yeah.
before I knew it. and it became big in for the early 2000s. But yeah.
Wow, cool. So tell me this, because you didn't have a per se tech background, was it difficult transitioning into data, or did you take to it just like a fish takes to water? What was your experience?
Well, initially, because I was so new to it, and because I was also data was this was the first year. I went at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and this was the
Me
first
too.
year. You too, yes. uh, but this degree was the first of its kind in the first year, so it was just even schools and universities were playing and experimenting with it, right? So it was so
As a
engineering
discipline.
focused. Exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
As a specialization. Yes. And I just, it was hard because of the approach and how I didn't know coding. I didn't have a computer science background.
Yeah.
But I also learned very quickly what my strengths were there that I bring outside of just the coding aspect of it.
Yeah.
And how that is so important and plays to it. So for example, I thought that how I approach problems is trying to understand what the business issue is.
Yeah.
And having a strong grasp on that, and then seeing what solutions fit in.
Problem first.
Problem first, always, yes. And that ended up in disguise being one of the most helpful things in my the data side of my career, because we tend to lose sight of it sometimes, right? Because we just get so engrossed in all the AI for the sake of AI. It's very easy to do. So that helped me quite a bit, but it was hard to get to that point.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Quick break in the pod to talk about our presenting sponsors, choosemketech.org. If you're looking to grow your tech career in Milwaukee, choosemketech.org connects you to local jobs, events, community groups, all powered by the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition. Find your place in Milwaukee's growing tech scene at choosemketech.org. Okay, this is fascinating. We'll come to AI for sure as we go along in this conversation. But there's something that you said which will be very helpful for people and professionals who are wanting to who want to transition into data. That part where you said you found your strength and what you brought to the table. Could you just expand a little bit more on what that experience of finding that strength and how you came about to that?
Sure. So my strengths were basically on more of the business side, because that's just what my career has been and all I knew so far, right? And it's just there's so much. We tend to look at data in such a narrow light, but there's just so much straight from data engineering. So you're talking actual SQL, actually building database management systems, straight to the translation piece towards the end, which is more of the storytelling and business intelligence aspect. And it's just a matter of, for me at least, was the matter of finding where I fit in. And this was where I did fit in. The translation piece of it, where where the analysis, you're able to grab those insights and make them into actionable items. Like that's what I brought to the table and ended up being very useful. We used to, at least back when I started, call those data unicorns.
Okay.
And
data unicorn, that's a new term for me.
Well, yeah, it's the ones that are not just focused on data, have some exposure outside of data, and that's a skill set or used to be hard to find when I started out. So yeah.
So was that because of your tax and audit background that you understood exactly how to apply the technology when it came to those scenarios with tax and audit that made you a rare find for employers wanting someone who actually knows the business? Would that be a fair statement?
For sure, yes. It's just the nature of my work, and what I was used to was building that investigative muscle.
Yeah.
So that, as all of us who have work in data or with data know is a big plus. I am so sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hey, that's what happens.
This is all my Zoom calls at work, by the way. It's just she's the star.
No, wonderful. That's Louise, right?
That is Thelma.
Okay.
Yes. Thelma is the more naughty one. Yes.
Wonderful. So, with that, since I didn't know where I was going, but yeah, with that background now, because a lot of people who are going to watch are also going to be students. So what are some of the things that you would kind of recommend for people who are just starting out or just getting their masters to kind of do uh, besides their curriculum that you have found useful? Because it's been about what, 8 to 10 years that you've graduated from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things that I would recommend for people starting out, and the advice that I wish I had then,
Yeah.
was firstly just what we touched on earlier, right? About um, keeping the focus as the problem first, right?
Right.
Because as students, and especially as more technical students, you get bogged down by so much of the where this is all we can do and this is all the variables and data available to us.
Yeah.
So it's more of the well, that's all great, but I will
Yeah.
grab
No,
it
no,
for
no, no.
you. It's so sorry.
No worries, no worries.
We're
We're going to title this Cats and Data.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Good title as any.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, it's the first step is not the data itself.
Right.
The first step is not what you can do with the data. The first step always needs to be what is the issue we're solving.
Yeah.
And I was at a Women in Analytics conference recently, and one of the panelists said that we talk about data literacy a lot, right?
Correct.
So data literacy is so interconnected with other aspects. So it's like business literacy leads to data literacy, and data literacy leads to AI literacy.
Right.
And that is something that was very helpful to know and very difficult for people to build a muscle later on, because even seasoned people find that an issue even now to kind of keep that focused, right? That was one. Another thing that helped me a lot was just trying to, because there's aspects of this big data universe and so many careers and so much you could do.
Yeah.
Exploring a lot of different aspects to see what you like, what you have an aptitude for, and what your strengths are is helpful. Because I thought I loved data in its raw form, and I thought data engineering would be like the perfect fit for me.
So SQLs, data pipelines, that side of things. Okay.
Yes. And when I did sign up for classes, learn more, talk to industry professionals, I realized very early on that this is not as what I made it seem in my head before I actually had experience working with it, right?
Yeah.
80% of your time, give or take, goes into cleaning up data. And that was just not for me.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have realized that if I hadn't explored different things. That's the time to do it.
During your coursework, you mean?
During the coursework, but also what you're doing with your career at that point.
Yeah.
So whether it is talking to industry professionals, mentorship, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
When you're first starting out, that was super helpful to me.
That's awesome. No,
Thelma agrees.
Yes, Thelma agrees. We got the vote of confidence from the cats too. But I find that fascinating for one particular reason, because as students we come in with a lot of preconceived notion that this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think that especially the students who are going to watch this need to know this aspect, where you might have a notion about something, but then you have to let uh, the game kind of dictate the terms to you as well, in a way that what do you like, and what you thought something might be
Yeah.
would be very different in a course. Like, for example, you said you liked, you thought you would love the data engineering piece, the backend, the extract, the transform, the load piece, but it actually turned out to be more on the business side.
Yeah.
So, did you just allow yourself to explore that? And how did you overcome your rigidity in terms of your thinking?
That came to me over time. I wish I had just approached it with an open mind right to begin with.
Okay.
But it's something I did over the
Over the
years, and it was not just what I liked. I also realized that the data analytics landscape is ever changing, right? And there's also a market demand. Like, the data analyst's role has never been the same year over year. We always have to adapt and be flexible. So that played into it as well, as to what do we require, or what is the skill set that's in demand in that sense. So those two kind of went hand in hand for me, and that was the kind of push I wish I'd approached, like I said earlier, with an open mind. But that was the nudge I needed
to kind of just explore.
to. Yes.
Okay. And does that process also continue now that you are in the job as well?
Yes, that process never ends, and I'm sure that's kind of your experience as well.
Yeah.
And it only feels like it just, the speed increases of the change in AI and the developments, right? So it's every few months almost now, it feels like I have to keep myself updated, open-minded, learn more, and see if how to like change my skill set or my experiences to match that,
The needs.
essentially the
Okay.
needs. Yes.
Okay. So, are there any like specific tools or learning platforms that you use to kind of keep yourself continually updated?
Yeah, I work on a lot of the visualization aspect. So Tableau is a big one, as it is for most people working in analytics. Yeah. Um, I also, because I work in higher education now.
Okay.
Salesforce is a very big, more recent tool they use, and they use it mostly as a relational database system. So that's essentially your database. So that's something I constantly learn about, and has been new as of the last couple of years for me.
Yes.
I work with finance data a lot.
Okay.
So R ends up being my preferred coding language as opposed to Python.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of time series modeling, stuff like that.
Okay.
Causal models,
So, are you found it to be better?
R is in my experience is a better language to use if you're working with financial data or just like time series data in general than Python.
Okay. Just for those listeners who are not of any data background, because we have some of them too, can you tell, because everybody will be thinking, what is R? And why are they talking about this alphabet letter R? Could you just explain what we just spoke about, Python, which is like snakes and an English alphabet R?
Yeah, no, happy to. It's so a big aspect of any career in data is the programming languages, right? And Python is one of them. Um, R is R is another programming language, based on, if there's any computer engineering kids out there, based on the C plus universe, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
if you program in R, it's pretty similar.
You found that to be your experience?
Yes, that's been
Okay.
my experience. And in my experience also, there's an aptitude thing, it's like basically learning a new language. So it is what you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
as well as what fits the situation. And R just fit better for me in that sense.
Okay.
Python still I'm embarrassed to admit intimidates me to this day.
No,
It's
no, that it intimidates a lot of people. I've heard that, but it's far more versatile.
100%. Yes.
Um,
R is too narrow. Python's the language you probably
yeah.
want to learn in this day and age if you're starting out. Yes.
So one of the things about since we are discussing R and Python, R was generally considered more for like statistical modeling because it had a
Yes.
lot of those libraries built out.
Yes.
But then I think Python was catching up pretty fast as well. Is that still the case where you find libraries for statistical modeling is more robust with R than Python, or um,
It it really depends,
on
and
your
I
use
think
case?
it's
Yeah,
more subjective. But if you wanted my opinion on it,
yeah,
statistical modeling is still the big catch with R,
yeah.
and they still develop models because I use it so much. I know, but there's a level of that Python can do.
Hmm.
Python can do that and so much more.
Yeah,
There's also, again, in my experience, Python is as intimidating as it can be.
yeah,
Python still has so much information online.
yeah.
There's nothing you can't find and help you can't find. There's more information than one could possibly need. So coding in Python is friendly in that sense. If you're
Okay.
starting out, it's very
Mm,
easy to explore. Or still, not a lot of people use it. There's only that much information, but
okay. Yeah, no, that makes like sense in terms of it's good to have these two things in your back pocket,
yeah,
especially if you're a student. Learning these two will help you a ton. But you picked up my favorite tool, which is Tableau. I mean, we have to
yeah.
talk a little bit. It was not part of the agenda, but it's
Always
my,
love talking about
I'm
Tableau.
biased. I'm biased. Full disclosure, Tableau Ambassador 2024. So I have a little bit of bias towards the tool. Um, do you use it heavily for like visualization?
Yeah, that's solely what I use.
Okay.
I also work in a space right now that we can use things we want to.
Okay.
We haven't. We are making it more streamlined and uniform, but I'm in that happy place where it's like whatever works best for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do almost all of my visualization in
And
Tableau. It's,
reporting.
as you
Yeah.
know, very user friendly.
Yeah.
It's also, I love how many different data sources I can connect.
Connect. Okay.
And obviously, there's Tableau Prep, which helps even building those recipes out to like use. Depending on how we're joining it, how we want different data sources to like interact with each other.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I wasn't trying to fangirl, but it's just so there's everything you can do with it, and there's
Yeah.
it's great, and hopefully I can continue using it because as we know, Salesforce is going to have some kind of business deal with Tableau, and it's going to be uh, connected directly to Salesforce. So
It is.
I don't.
So they bought Salesforce bought Tableau
Oh,
over. I think in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
well, did they? Because I still it hasn't fully integrated.
Yeah,
Is
I
we're
don't. You mean like integration in terms of like them becoming like a one tool? Is that
or
what you're
being
saying?
able to have easier access, like having more
Yeah.
of a Salesforce influence in Tableau, it still feels like different tools. And I
Yeah.
mean, we pay for both of them separately too, so it's not,
No, I get what
but
you're.
there has been talks about them being
Yes.
more
Yeah.
integrated. I'm just not entirely sure what that
Mm,
entails.
I'm not too sure on like how the integration works, but Tableau has amazing like capabilities in terms of like they launched like Einstein and
Yeah.
all of the other like Tableau Pulse is another like
Mhm.
AI aspect of it. So there's always new stuff that they're doing. So I'm pretty sure that there might be a lot of things coming down the line for it. But hey, all, quick break in the podcast to talk about Requisor. Requisor is a AI project assistant that we have built that takes messy ideas and turns them into action plans with milestones and tasks. We have AI agents that actually help on executing on all of those ideas and action plans as well. These agents can be quoting agents, social media agents, and many more that you can also connect your other apps to. So I want you to check out Requisor and how it can help you to take your ideas to execution. Thank you. Is there so what kind of use cases, just from a problem solving perspective, do you do with Tableau? Palak?
So Tableau is usually the end product. So it's just how I'm presenting a lot of the analysis.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much a weekly update right now that we heavily use it for is tracking what we call our progress to goals report.
Progress to goals. Okay.
Yeah. So we set goals for, so just for a little bit of background, I work at the University of Chicago in their fundraising function.
Yeah.
And what I do is I work in their financial analytics space, and
Yeah.
uh, largely what my responsibility is predicting and forecasting these financial metrics.
Okay.
And where we will get the next big donation from, what this looks like in the short term and long term. So it's around that.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, progress to goals is usually trying to see where we are and where we could be based on these goals we forecasted towards the start of the fiscal year. And we kind of slice and dice them, again, beauty of Tableau, in different ways.
Wow.
So things like we have about 20 plus bigger units, we call them, at the University of Chicago. So like Booth, college, the law school. So tracking all of their how they progress towards their goal and what is needed to fill that gap, and different gift types, different donor types. Like there's people and
different ways. Okay, wow.
Yeah, and it's really helpful. The senior management loves that report, which is why it gets sent out weekly.
Yeah,
got sent out yesterday for us. Yeah.
This is great to kind of see what kind of use cases come out, because um, as a tool, sometimes you don't know how the tool is being used, but there's just so many ways you can do it. So specifically in your domain, just connecting what you said a little while earlier about business domains and stuff, specifically for higher ed, how are these like, what are the other kinds of problems that you kind of see and solve using visualizations?
A lot of it is donor facing, right? So whether it's actually tracking pipelines and making sure those are updated. So what is expected, what is already asked, but we haven't heard back from, what that probability is. We call it confidence in closing.
Confidence in closing.
Yeah.
So you actually have like a mathematical way of calculating that?
It's not mathematical how we come to the percentage. It's mostly up to a gift officer. But like being able to do the calculation about how much of this gift has the probability of coming in and when, just so that people have it in front of them, helps inform a lot of these decisions.
Yeah.
So we use it for a lot of our pipeline reporting. We also use it for different things like engagement metrics. So how have we interacted with donors so far? They have a very scientific way of calculating it at the back end with that. But even other things, we count donor retention. It's important how many people come back.
Wow.
So Tableau helps a lot to keep track of and update important stakeholders with that information.
Wow, that's a new use case even I hadn't heard of previously.
We started last year. That was a metric that got introduced when I started working.
That's super cool. You also mentioned like forecasting over there. Can you just talk about like forecasting and what kind of use cases? Because I remember in college we talk a lot about like these time series, forecasting, 3-day moving average, 5-day moving averages, and all these exercises, but it never kind of connected to the practicality of how these concepts would be used in real life. So could you just expand a little bit more on that?
Sure. And so my job is I live and breathe forecasting. So I'm going to try very hard not to be long-winded, right? But we have so much data, and I am even currently working on seeing what else we could use to help better inform those strategic decisions. But as of now, There's we use forecasting in 3 parts. Is how I like to explain it. One is using time series model, and that's basically for data that is less volatile, that over the period of time maintains the same seasonalities essentially and trends. So that particular portion we use an ARIMA model for that. Another part of forecasting is more of the causal models. So it's what we usually when we think analytics think of, correlations, how that translates into causations, and more regression related kind of modeling. And then there's trying to predict the unpredictable, which is the third bucket, and it's ever increasing in the fundraising universe now. We've all heard in the news about these big gifts that show up out of nowhere. And it's hard to predict unpredictability. And at that point, it's been helpful for me. And what I'm currently also working on refining is using a lot of the qualitative analytics part of it. So trying to use categorical variables, not numbers per se. Donor behavior, what kind of donors are similar. So KNN, clustering, those kind of things are what I'm trying to work with for it, in the hope that I can fish out some trends out of that and make predictions for these seemingly out of nowhere gifts, right?
Wow.
Which has been very interesting. And I'm assigning scores to it so that there's some kind of base.
Scores to what?
Scores to these different models, so that there's some kind of bottom layer where we can where they match, because these are such different models, and how do you compare it if you don't have a common kind of way of doing that? And it's we're still finessing the score, but as of now it's like 1 to 10, and I'm trying to figure out where the qualitative buckets land there and how I can potentially add it to the other 2 methods we discussed, or the outputs.
And see which method kind of gives you the best prediction, because then you can see with actual data that came for the year and see which one like suited the best. Is that the gist of it, or did I get it wrong?
It's that is part of it, but part of it is also to be able to, even if it is these different types, whatever suits, we can still like make it work, and we're trying to get the accuracy as close as possible. So that's the bigger angle here. It's a lot.
It is.
Which is why it takes up most of my time at work.
Just for those listeners who come, because we use a lot of technical terms like KNN, ARIMA, clustering. All of these are like terms in like data science. Clustering is just how you can put similar items together. Right, KNN is one of those models, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. And then with forecasting, it's simple. Like you want to predict how many it's just like how many customers are coming to a restaurant within a month or a year, and then you put it alongside the actual data and see whether your forecasting was right or wrong. Correct? Is that the analogy that makes sense for what you do?
No, but that's also part of what we do, right? Forecasting is simply just, this is how it has been, and we're basing it off of the past
data. Previous data.
But there's also an aspect of comparing it to the actual data to see how accurate the forecast is, and kind of fine-tuning it as we proceed in time.
As you progress. That's really cool. So now in that part, how is AI playing a role? What's the advent of artificial intelligence kind of changing the game? Is it affecting forecasting, or just in general? We'd love to know.
Yes, it is affecting forecasting, and not just for us, like just the whole forecasting in general. I've been reading a lot about it, and there's just the amount of the amount of like resources we now have as far as AI, the scope of AI is and what it looks like now, there's just so much more you can do. With forecasting, outside of, the better your model, the more accurate. Uh, there's this whole other thing that's happening in that world where it's so much more context driven. So it's not just this was how the past was and this is what's informing the decision. So this is the number. It's more about like, well, there's a whole other like there's it doesn't exist in vacuum. So there's so much else that you can through AI and the technology now explain. And there's so much more information you can provide in that sense. You're doing so much more than numbers. You're trying to provide what the context of these numbers is. You're also being able to make those more actionable, more impactful. So how do I just embed this insight into my strategy? Like, how do I drive my strategy using that? And that's the beauty of what's happening in the AI world, with with forecasting,
And
particularly.
is there a space for ChatGPT or anything that you're using it in real life for, without like disclosing too many details?
Oh, well, we were Chat GPT is on our mind as much as anybody else's mind, data or not. I want to say it was last month or could be the month before that, that we had the CFO announced that they have an in-house Chat GPT model that everybody at University of Chicago can use.
Wow.
Students, staff. So that was pretty cool. Works great. I use it quite a bit. But for my work specifically, or for fundraising specifically, um, I won't say Chat GPT. I would talk about it as generative AI.
Yeah.
There's such a big universe that not just us, everyone is exploring, where you are trying to make personalized, customized communication with your donors, right? But more efficient, more human sounding, that kind of stuff. So that is the big, very immediate bucket everyone, even outside of us in that industry, is thinking about using it for.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there are lots of like practical applications that we are seeing right now. This is not like 1 or 2 years down the line, where it's just happening as we kind of speak. That's like pretty fascinating to know, like how it's affecting even like fundraising for your particular use case.
Yeah. I mean, there's also that aspect of competitive advantage, right? I mean, we can't push this a year or two out. This isn't back in the LLM days where you're just waiting to, develop a model. Everyone's doing. You can't keep up. You have to, if you want to be at par with, I don't know, other Ivy Leagues. For us, we have to be there with the technology, especially generative AI. So yeah.
Okay. No, this is helpful to kind of know where and how generative AI is also being used, even for fundraising. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just on a tangent here, how does do you do anything with data about your cats? Since they were such a big feature on this podcast as well.
Oh gosh, I shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Just to track their like behavior and why Thelma feels the need to interrupt on all the calls. Well, that's basic. She's an attention seeker, but I'm sure there's data backing information for that.
About cats?
Yes. Orange cats. Yes.
There are two orange cats. It's not just one, but there are two.
Yes, called Thelma and Louise. In my defense, my husband named them.
Why they named that?
Because of the movie Thelma and Louise, and they're redheads too, and these guys are ginger cats. So, yeah, it's his sense of humor. Yeah.
Wonderful. So now, just before we end, I'm going to throw some quick questions at you. This is the most cheesiest part of this, which is a rapid fire. All right, but we call it the tech rapid fire. Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
All right. Brace yourself, but you have to give answers as quickly as possible.
Okay.
All right. Palak, your first question. Um, Tableau or Python?
Tableau. Always Tableau.
Tableau or Power BI?
Tableau.
It seems biased here, but yes, okay.
Yeah. They haven't paid me to say this. No. Just love Tableau that much. Yeah.
The best tool for data analysis in general.
Tableau is a big one, but I would also say Python there.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. Um, uh, in terms of ChatGPT, about generative ChatGPT or Gemini?
Well, Chat
Or
GPT,
Grok?
because I'm just used to using it more. I haven't had that much experience.
Have you tried Grok?
Very, very briefly.
You should try Grok. It's super funny. I love Grok. Grok is X's or Twitter. No, not Twitter. Only X. Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah,
things about it.
the way
Yes.
it generates images is fantastic. Yeah. So, last rapid fire question. So, what's your between Power BI and Excel, um, and R and Python? Which is the worst tool that you have used?
That's a hard question, right? Because as a former accountant, I can't hate on Excel
Worst
at
tool
all.
you've ever used?
I have had the least amount of experience with Power BI, and I have run into issues for like those in-house Power BI when you're not when I'm just using it for free, but at organizations I've worked for. But that's solely Tableau's fault. I'm just too spoiled. But Power BI would be at the bottom.
Oh,
Excel would be a close second, though. There's very limited stuff you can do with it.
but a lot of people still use Excel, right?
Yeah, we use Excel. I would, when there's short turnaround projects, if I need to get it done in 1 or 2 hours, Excel is, I'm doing my rudimentary analysis in text in Excel. Yeah.
Have you tried Airtable?
No, I've heard
Should
about
try
it.
Yeah,
Is it like Excel or?
kinda, but it's the interface is just fun. I don't know why, but it has a lot of like integrations and stuff. Excel is great. I always like using Excel, but Airtable has a lot of like email and integrations,
Oh,
and
cool.
just the UI itself. It's very intuitive. It's kind of like marrying Tableau and Excel in a way, in a weird kind of way.
It's like the best of both worlds.
Yes,
that
yes.
situation.
I have heard of like many other new tools also kind of coming along, but those are the ones that like I like the most. Yeah. So
I gotta check it out then. Yeah.
yeah, you have to. Any as we kind of wind up, any parting advice for students and professionals who are continuously wanting to like learn? Any pieces of advice that you would like to share with our audience?
Yes. This is again something I'm passionate about, and have been exploring quite a bit. Right. It's just that where we are with data now, we are so heavily dependent, probably more than we used to be when it was a newer field. And to me, it's just the again, there's just so much you can do with it. And to be able to kind of focus on why. And like, again, as I mentioned in the start, like AI for the sake of AI is a costly rabbit hole to go down.
Okay.
So I always try to keep that in mind. And along with that, there's also I used to do this initially in my career, being from a numbers background, where it's like, this needs to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
And that's, in my experience, the wrong approach to use.
Okay.
Accuracy is important. Accuracy is not as important as explainability. And this is also more for like the non-technical key stakeholders I tend to work with.
Yeah.
They'd rather have a model that's not 99% accurate and is 85% accurate, but you can explain it and actually drive some impact out of it. That's what's more important. And as data folk, I still do it. We get caught up in accuracy a lot. So yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Um, Palak, thank you so much again for sharing your time, your
Yeah.
insights. It's been such a pleasure. And I am hopeful that we get an opportunity to kind of talk again
Yeah.
and learn from you. A lot of people are going to, students especially, are going to take a lot of value out of this conversation. So we really appreciate your time. And Palak, thank you again for being on the podcast. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Take care.